This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domain.com. Welcome to Film Riot Mondays. It looks really nice and neat, but it's not everywhere else. But you don't know that. Well, now you do.
Well, now they do.
But it looks nice in here, doesn't it? How do you overcome your laziness? I currently get around laziness because of deadlines. That eradicates all laziness for me because I have no choice. I have to get certain things done every week at a certain time. So that keeps me together and disciplined. And if I want to do anything else on top of that, like my short films, I really have to buckle down, plus the family life. So laziness is really not a luxury I can afford, unfortunately. Before all this, with all the deadlines that I've imposed on myself, I never really struggled with laziness too much. I was always really passionate about doing film, so it was more of a fun thing for me than it was work. It was my version of lounging out and playing video games, which of course you need to do that too. You do need your downtime to just relax and play video games and let your mind wander, or whatever it is you do to relax. That's just as important as working as hard as you can. How to introduce a character in a movie and make the audience feel connected to them. Tell me please, Ryan, just do it like Bammy Wham. I think there's a ton of different ways that you can do it, but I think the best thing to do is just to study movies where you really love those characters in the film and figure out how they were able to pull that off. A couple of films off the top of my head, The Theory of Everything, there's a really great human moment where the two characters come together and the female character cleans the male character's glasses. That was a great moment to really endear you to those characters. And then you have really obvious things like John Wick with the puppy, or The Drop, again with a puppy, which are really easy ways to get you to love a tough guy by giving them that fragile side, that empathetic side that we can draw into. So it's different things like that where you're giving those human moments, you're giving those moments where the audience can empathize and understand that character to really connect them to it. And it's one of the most important things when telling your story, so you can connect your audience to those characters so they care what's going to happen to those characters throughout the story. Hey Ryan, how do you select your music for your projects? Do you get it stock or do you get it made? Cheers. I actually do both. For my short films, I have it composed, like Tell and Proximity was composed by Daniel James. Adobe and the Frog was composed by Ben Worley. He also does the music that we sell on our store, which you can get right here for your projects. Picking that music is basically I'm done in the writing process. I find music and I create a playlist and I listen to that while I write my script, and that music usually ends up becoming the music that I use as my temp soundtrack when I'm editing the film, so I can then send that to my composer and he can get a general idea of the type of feel that I'm going for, then throw it all out and start from scratch. Then for Film Riot, I'm using pre-existing music that I get from apmmusic.com, and I do it the same way. When I come up with a sketch, I know the sort of vibe and style that I'm going for, and then I just search through APM to find music that fits that idea that I already knew I wanted. Chocolate or vanilla ice cream? I am actually not that big a fan of ice cream.
It's weird.
So neither.
That's a weird thing.
I know. Everyone
Who
likes
doesn't
ice
like
cream.
ice cream?
Me.
Everybody likes ice cream.
When going through casting submissions, what do you look for in an actor's headshot and resume? For resumes, honestly, I don't look at them too much because I don't care if you've been in a Hollywood film or nothing at all. If you can act, you can act. So what you've done is of no consequence to me for the most part. Headshots, however, are important. It shows me if you're gonna fit the look of the character that I'm actually casting. And the thing to keep in mind with those is I've seen two types that were not great. One, it looks like it was shot on a camera phone in your bedroom. The other one looks just way overly produced in a cheesy way, like old school Olin Mill type, where it's super glossy and way too touched up, which isn't great because it's so touched up that I'm not fully seeing what you look like either, so it's not super helpful. Give me a real picture of you. I don't need it super touched up. And you know, I would say people should add more of a wider range of their looks in their headshots. You never really see this. You usually just see, you know, smiling at the camera in the sunshine, where I want to see different looks from an actor, you know, more of an evil look, more of a comedic look, that normal look, so you can see what sort of vibes they can hit and if they can fit those or not. And you never really see people do that, so I think people kind of pigeonhole themselves sometimes, which isn't great. But king of all of those is, you know, the audition tape. Can you actually act or not? That is the most important. Is film school really necessary, or is good old-fashioned experience better in the industry? Holla rye. Experience trumps all else. I mean, even if you go to film school, you still need to gain experience after the fact. Film school is just setting you up to have an easier time at that experience, since you're learning all the buttons and the theory behind everything before you get into the field. So you're kind of carving off a few years there. Also, the really great thing about film school is the networking that you can do, the like-minded people that you're now locked in with. And if you go with a really good film school, these are people that you can sort of help carry, and they'll help carry you throughout your career. So I think that's one of the biggest aspects of going to film school. Is it necessary? No. Is it helpful? Yes. I definitely think it's helpful to focus in on your craft for those few years if you can do it. But student loans are nuts. If you can't swing it, that doesn't mean you're not gonna make it. Experience is king above all else. Last question, how long is this new project that you're working on, and will we be getting any kind of teaser trailer in the coming weeks? Thanks, homie. I think it's about 5.5 minutes total, and we won't be doing a teaser, not because we're trying to be super secretive J.J. Abrams on you. It's just that I think it'll be a better experience and more entertaining for you if you don't know anything going into it. If it just shows up, I think you guys will have a lot more fun with the short film than if we were to, spoil things before time. And that's another thing with short films. It's hard to make a trailer out of a short film without spoiling a ton of stuff. I mean, Tell, it was a bit easier because that's a 30-minute piece. When you come down to a 5-minute piece, how do you make a teaser out of 5 minutes without giving almost everything away? So no on that, but it will be coming out the beginning of April, and I'm very excited for you guys to see it. Domain.com is the place to go if you're an innovator or entrepreneur and you want to get yourself up on the internets. You got to be thinking domain.com. They got domain extensions that are, it's a list of a ton. It's like 200 plus, and it's a growing list, my friend. You can get extensions like .expert, .nyc, .club, and you can use that to better push your brand. Plus, we can save you 20% when you use the coupon code FilmRiot at checkout. So when you're thinking domain names, think domain.com.
Logo.
So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one has a title which I can't really pronounce, so I'm not even going to try to, but it comes from Crazy Pictures on YouTube. You can check it out right here. It is hilarious, great production value, acting, all that. Definitely check it out. It is a good time had by all. But until next week, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.